Good morning. Good morning. Give me a minute, y'all. I'm gonna hook up my desktop. Good morning. Well, is everybody been busy this week? Y'all been busy this Thanksgiving week? Trying to get ready for Thanksgiving? Y'all, I might have figured out how to get on my phone again. I found it this morning, so I hope I won't have no more trouble with it. I haven't been on here in a few days. Hi, if y'all haven't saw these videos before. Hi, my name is Gaynell, but I go by Allie Smoot, but I go by Gaynell too. So, go on YouTube and subscribe and like, and if you like my videos, okay? Well, I've been wanting to get on here for the last few days, but I haven't made it, so we're here today. Better late than never, isn't it? Are y'all ready for Thanksgiving? Is everybody getting ready for Thanksgiving? I'm trying to wait for a few to get on, okay? I just want to thank everybody this morning. You know, we need to be thankful about everything, not just on Thanksgiving. We need to be thankful every day for everything that we have and everything, for the air that we breathe, for the life that we have, our family, our children, our home, our vehicles, the air I breathe. There's so much to be thankful for, and some people probably say, I ain't got nothing to be thankful for. Yes, you do. You might not have what you really want, but if you got air to breathe, you're blessed. If you got shoes to wear, you're blessed. You know, some people don't have that. A warm place to live. Some people don't have that. I was in town yesterday morning and I seen so many homeless people walking around, and you can tell they're homeless. They're probably staying up at the church or something where they let them stay, I think, in Oneonta. But there were so many out walking around, and I could tell they were homeless, you know. And it makes me feel so blessed to have what I have. It might not look like much to somebody else, but to me, I'm blessed. I'm blessed. I'm blessed all 365 days a year, not just one day a year. I'm blessed all year long. And I thank God. I'm just thankful for everything. I might not say it. I might not say, Lord, I'm so thankful every day like I should and thank Him. But I am. God knows my heart. He knows I'm thankful for what I have. I have a chair to sit in, I have a TV to watch, I have a heat, I have lights, electricity, I have food, I have a roof over my head. I'm healthy, I've got good health. I'm 67 years old, going on 68. I've lived a long life. And I am keep on living it till the Lord decides it's time for me to come home, till He gets my place ready. And I'm just blessed. I'm just blessed, y'all, and you're blessed. I don't care what you're going through. It doesn't matter what you're going through. What you're going through, you're still blessed. You're still blessed. You might not feel it right now. You might not feel like you're blessed, but you are blessed. And we should be thankful. Thankful for everything that God has given us. and everything that He's doing for us. You might be going through, I'm just thinking about Job this morning, you know. That man lost, let me tell you a little bit about him, okay? Job. You might not know about Job in the Bible, in the Old Testament. It was this man. It said his name was Job, and he was a upright and perfect, and one that feared God and eschewed evil. He was a good man. He was. He was a good man. He feared God and he stayed away from evil. He's perfect and upright. You know, that man, he loved God. He was blessed. He had all this. He had 10 kids, a wife and 10 kids, and all these animals. He had 7,000 sheep. Back then, I'm sure that was a lot. You know, a lot of money for them. 7,000 sheep, 3,000 camels. 3,000 camels? Why does somebody need 3,000 camels? Back then, I don't know if he sold them or what, but that's a lot. And he had 500 yokes of oxen, and 500 she asses, and very great household, and a very great household, so that his name was the greatest of all the men of the East. Everybody know Job. He loved God, and he stayed away from evil, and he was just blessed. God had blessed him with all this stuff. He had a lot. He was still blessed if he didn't have all that stuff, but God blessed him with material things. And everybody knowed him in that land. And but one day, just out of the blues, one day, things changed in his life. He went through a lot. He lost 10 children. I believe it said in the same day. I believe it was 10 children. He lost 10 children. He had, I think it was 7 sons and 3 daughters. He lost them all to, I think it was like a hurricane or high winds or something that came through, just tornadoes or something, and he lost them all. And he lost all of his animals. Everything he had, he lost it. All his material things, he lost it. And the devil even attacked his body. He didn't just take all of his material stuff that he had, his wealth. He attacked his body, so that he just sat in sackcloth and ashes and scratched, because he had big boils all over him, and he scratched. He eats, and the dogs would come and lick his sores. But you know what? That man didn't once turn on God. He didn't turn his back on God, even though he lost it all. He still had God, and he didn't turn his back on God. He didn't turn and say, well, God, why did this happen? I'm grieving my 10 kids. I'm grieving. He didn't turn to God and say, why, God, did you take my kids? Why, God? He didn't start blaming God. He didn't. He loved God. And he knew God was his answer. He was God, and without God he was nothing, but he had God. Even though he lost all of his material stuff, his children, he lost it all except his wife. He did. He lost it all, but he didn't start cursing God and say, God, why did you let this happen? If you loved me, why did this happen? No, never once did he curse God. But you know, his wife told him one day, she said, why don't you just curse God and die? How would you like to have a wife like that? How would you like to have a wife that would tell you, why don't you just curse God and die? She had lost 10 kids too and everything. She had too, see. But Job was a perfect and upright and just man. And he did not turn his back on God. He did not curse God and start blaming God and questioning God. He loved God and he held on to God. Most people now, when you start grieving or whatever, you'll start blaming God. Well, God, why did you take this person? Or why did you take that person? One of these days when we get to heaven, we'll find out. We'll find out then. But we need to let Job be an example for us too. He did not turn his back on God when all that stuff happened to him. Material things ain't important. I know your children and your family is important to you, and it would break your heart if you lost one of them. But Job, he lost 10 children. But he didn't turn his back on God and curse God. No, his wife told him to. Said, why don't you? And the enemy ever come to you and said, why don't you just curse God and die? Hey, look what he's done to you. You say, you talk like a foolish woman. You just talk like a foolish woman. Go on. You talk like a foolish woman. Why would I want to curse God? Why would I? God giveth and God taketh away. He gave it to me and he took it away. Why would I curse God? He gave it to me to start with. But so many times we want to get angry and upset with God and blame God for things instead of not realizing God's got a plan. He knows when to take and when not to take, when to give and when not to give. God knows everything. So whatever he's having going on in your life, just remember, don't get upset with God and start blaming God like Job's wife told him, won't you just curse God and die? God knows it all. He knows why he had to take this person or that person. God's timing is right on time. It was time for that person to come home. Their place was ready because when Jesus left, he said, I'm going to prepare a place for you. So I believe, this is my saying, my belief, but don't say it in the Bible, but I believe this. When our place is ready, he's going to call us home. So until he gets our place ready for us, where he wants us to be at, we're going to be here working for the Lord, okay? And we can't curse God if you lose everything that you have, except your wife, who tells you, why don't you curse God and die? I was wondering, why didn't you take her? But he didn't. He had to have something like a thorn in the flesh. You had to poke at him. Why don't you curse God and die? Look at you laying here in these sackcloth and ashes, and you're got boils all over you. You got sores all over you. It's bad. The dog's coming up licking them. Why didn't she get out there and help him? Why didn't she get the dogs off of him, huh? That's a different story, I guess. But he was a sick man. But you know what? He was a just man and an upright man. Even his friends came to him and seen what shape that what he was going through, and thought he had sinned. Let me tell you, just because things happens in your life, you might have lost what you have. You might have lost your house, your car, your family, your good health. You might have lost stuff. And people might look at you and say, well, they must have sinned. No. Just because if you lost something, that could just mean that you was under an attack of the enemy. The enemy was coming at you to try you to see if he could sift you like wheat. If he could just tear you down, take you away from God. He'll come at you and he'll throw all this stuff at us to see how our faith is in God. And we got to trust that faith that we have. and trust God that He is in control, and God is a big God, and we're just like little ants down here, and God sees everything that happens. He knows everything that happens. But you know, later on, God had his friends to come back and apologize to Job, because Job didn't do nothing to cause this stuff to come on him. If you see a Christian down on their luck, it don't mean they've sinned. That means they're going through a trial to see how their faith is going to stand, I believe. And when they got through it, look, his friends had to come back and apologize to him, didn't he, for what they had said about him. And once they apologized to him, you know, God restored to him, I think it was, let me think, I think it was, I'm going to just guess at it. I think it was twice as much as he had. He restored to him twice as, I think it was twice. Let me think. Let me see. I think it was twice as much. I believe it was twice as much. I'm not for sure, but I think it was twice as much, I believe, that he had. So look at all the stuff that he had. If he had 10 kids, he had 20 kids. God restored to him more than what he had to begin with. If things are taken from us and we hang on to God and don't turn our backs on God, He'll restore it back to you. I believe He'll restore it more than what you had to begin with. If you just hang on, let faith work, and don't curse God. Don't curse God. If he'd have cursed God, he'd have died, right? Like she said, once you curse God and die, because if you start cussing God and turning back on God, you ain't got no future with God unless you repent. So I just felt like telling somebody that's going to be watching this, that maybe a bunch of people, but if you're going through things, if God's took your loved one, if you've lost things, material things, if you've had sickness on you, don't blame God. Don't turn your back on God. This is the time you need to really hold to Him. And don't let the enemy come at you and say, why don't you curse God and die? Don't listen to him when he's doing that to you. Keep your faith on God, in God. I don't care what it looks like around you, what you're going through, what you might go through later. Trust God. Keep your faith on God, in God. Keep your eyes on God, and don't turn. And Job, everything was returned to him. He had twice. I believe it was twice. I'm saying it's twice. I think it was twice. I'm thinking twice as much as he had. So if it was, he got still 10 kids. He had 20 kids now. I'm just wondering, was it by the same woman that told him to curse God and die, or did he have other women? I don't know how they lived back then or how they did. But I'm sure he didn't have but one wife. I'm sure. But anyway, he had 20 kids now, and he had I don't know. That's a lot of kids, wasn't it? 20 kids. And if he had he was sick, so if his health was restored to him twice as much as what it was before, he was in great health. He was in great health, wasn't he? And if he had, it says he had 7,000 sheep, so he'd have 14,000 sheep now. then, and he had 6,000 camels, so he had 3,000 camels, so he had 6,000 camels, and he had 5,000 oxen, so that means he had 10,000 and 500 she asses. He had 10,000 and a very great household, so that this man was the greatest of all the men in the east. So all his household was restored, twice as much as he had. 20 kids. He lost seven sons and 3 daughters, but he gained 20. He gained 20 back. I know you think, well, how could it replace the ones he lost? But God blessed him. He blessed him with more. And if you'll hang on to God and not blame God when you're going through this stuff, don't turn your back on God. You just hang on to Him and hang on and ride this out. Because when you're going through the stuff, Jesus is right there with you. He's in that fire with you. He's going to be in that fire with you when you're going through things. Even though you might feel like you're alone, and you just hang on, and God's going to restore to you more than what you had to begin with. It'll be better for you than it was if you just hang on and don't turn your back on God, and don't curse God, and don't blame God for everything that happens in your life. It just said God gives and God takes away. God gave me this and God took it away. If your TV quit working, say, well, God gave it to me and God took it away. Or, stuff like that. Just don't blame God and get mad and upset. Say, oh, well, just keep loving God and trusting God, and He'll see you through. And you'll come out better and have more than you had to begin with. But it's up to us. When you get in that place, the enemy's going to talk to you like Job's wife did and said, won't you curse God and die? But it's going to be your choice, your decision. How are you going to handle it? How would you handle things that's coming against you in your household? Are you going to trust God and let God restore to you twice as much as what you had? Or are you going to curse God and die? It's our choices. I can do that and have nothing. Or I can trust God, that God knows what He's doing. He has a plan for me in my life. So we need to just have faith in God and trust God. And Job was a happy man because he received more at the end than he did at the beginning. So I always wonder why he didn't take his wife, because she was like a thorn in the side, trying to say, well, why don't you curse God and die? You're going to have people around you all the time that's trying to lead you in the wrong direction. That shows me it could be in your own household. Be careful who you put your trust in, even if they're in your own household. You know what God's talked to you about, and you know what the Word says. And we have to trust God. And so Job's wife was left there for a reason, so to tempt him to curse God and die, but he did not listen to his wife. How many's listening to their wives or their husband that says, why do you go to church? Why do you have to do this? You don't have to go to church to live right. You can stay home and live right. Why do you do this? Be careful. Somebody in your own household, Job's wife was in his household, and she was trying to lead him the wrong way. She was trying to get him to curse God. So be careful who you listen to, okay? And let's be when you're going through something, think about Job, what he went through and what happened at the end. He regained more than what he had to start with. And God will restore to you more than what you had to begin with if you'll just hang on. Trust God. And remember, You're never alone. God is always with you. He's with you. He'll be with you. He'll never leave you or forsake you. So when you're going through the fire, just remember, you got to keep your faith in God. Trust God, that God knows what He's doing and He's in control, okay? All righty. I love y'all, and I thank y'all for watching this morning. And it was good. I hope I can get back on here again. Now, I think I figured out what my problem was on my phone. Hey, I'm not no computer expert. I don't know about this stuff. And it's just like stuff was moved around on my phone somehow. Oh, doggy, come here. My dog is trying to eat my toes up. She's just trying to eat my toes up. Look at her. She's a meanie. She likes to bite on everything. Yes. Princess, look. Say hi. She's a little bitty thing. Her's a little bitty thing. Yes, there is. Her's a little bitty thing. Oh. Some days I say, why did I get a dog? And other days I say, oh, she's so pretty. But they're a handful. If you're thinking about getting one, remember they're a handful. Oh, especially when they're potty training. Yeah, when you're trying to potty train them. And till they get a little bit older, then they'll be pretty. Yes, her is. She's a pretty girl. Yes. Her likes to bite on my shoes and my feet. I have to spank her. Okay, tell them bye. Bye-bye. Say bye-bye. Oh, me. Gave her a bath last night. She still smells good. Oh, still smells good. Yes. All right. Leave me alone now. Don't be biting on me. Okay, well, y'all, I'm going to get off here. I got up early this morning and got on here quick. So I'm going to let you go. And remember, trust God. I don't care what you're going through. Trust God. Say, it don't matter what I have or don't have. I got to trust God. That's all that matters. I trust God. God is my everything. God is my everything. I have to trust Him. Without Him, I have nothing. All right. I love y'all. And I thank y'all for dropping by and watching this video. And I will talk to you another day. I love y'all. Bye. And happy Thanksgiving if I don't get back on here before Thanksgiving, which I probably will. But I'll talk to you later. Bye.